Good morning once more. Today we are going to revise our content test, okay? We're going to revise our content test because I noticed that a lot of people were failing some things. I think some things were a bit hard so that we can go through it together, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Morning, Mommy. Morning, Sean.
Teacher.
Morning, how are you, Sean?
Fine.
Good. Today we are going to revise our content test together, okay? All right. So number one, we wanted to define, we said, what is friction? What is friction? Because I know sometimes there are some people who were not there when we were learning, when we were doing our lessons during that time. So we wanted to define friction. Who can define friction for me? Because I got a lot of answers that were close, but some were not really close enough. Yes, Bryce, what is friction?
Friction is when you rub two things together.
Yes, friction is rubbing two things together to produce heat, okay? Friction is rubbing two things together to produce heat. You can take that down because I noticed some people were writing friction is heat, friction is rubbing two things only. Friction is rubbing two things together to produce heat. Those who were present when we had our live lesson, we were rubbing our hands together. And I said, rub your hands, rub them as fast as possible. And when you rub them, you produce heat. That is what we call friction. Friction is rubbing two things together to produce heat. That's what friction is, yes. Even sometimes when you're feeling cold, you rub your body like this, yes. You rub your body, you rub your hands, you are feeling cold. As you rub your body, you produce friction, and friction exerts heat. Good. Okay, so number two, when we rub our hands together, we produce dash. What do we produce? Yes, Sean?
Heat.
We produce heat, and heat is H-E-A-T. Heat is H-E-A-T, okay? We know sometimes we say in content we don't mark spellings, but if you write the wrong spelling, sometimes it might not be okay for the teacher to mark for you, because if you write hit, H-I-T, that's for hitting someone. That is not going to be correct. So you must write H-E-A-T, that is the hit. Christians are people who follow dash. Christians are people who follow dash. Christians are people who follow, yes, Chakuta?
Jesus Christ.
They follow Jesus Christ, okay?
Yeah.
When you say God, if you say God only, it's not correct. Why? Because all religions believe in a God. You remember that? But we become Christians after Jesus Christ. You know the word Christ. That's where Christ, and then you put I-A-N-S. That's what we call Christians, okay? Christianity came after Jesus Christ's death, okay? Yes. Remember, before we have the Old Testament, people still believed in God, but they were not Christians. They were Jews, okay? Then after Jesus Christ, we adopted Christianity because we followed Jesus Christ's ways. Do you now understand? Yes. So Christians are people who follow Jesus Christ. Don't write God only, because all religions believe that there is a God who exists. But Christians believe that we go to God through Jesus Christ. Solar energy is energy from the solar energy from the sun. Thank you. Solar energy is energy from the sun. Solar energy is energy from the sun. Solar energy from the sun. Name two ways in which friction is important to us. Remember, we said we rub our hands together, we have to have friction. Why is friction important to us? Yes, Sean?
Because it makes us warm.
It makes us warm. That is correct. Good, Sean. Anything else? Yes, Takuza?
Balance.
Balance, yes. It helps us to balance. Remember, we say that as you are walking on the road with your shoes, right? Friction is the one that enables you not to slip and fall, okay? because of that heat that is between the tarred rod and your shoe, okay? So friction helps us to keep our balance as well. Anything else, any other answer? Remember, we said about bathing. I talked about bathing and friction. Is there anyone who knows how friction helps us when we are bathing? Yes, Bryce?
When you rub soap on your towel and you
Yes.
rub your towel on your body.
Yes. Good, Bryce. Welcome, Michaela. We are revising our content test, okay? Welcome. Okay, we say that when we rub our soap on the, we rub the soap on the towel and then you start scrubbing yourself, there is friction. That's the one that makes, to remove all that dirt, okay? As you are washing yourself maybe in the tub, you notice that there is dirty water coming out now. It's because of friction, okay? Even when you brush your teeth, friction is the one that helps our teeth to be clean. When you brush your teeth, there is friction between the toothbrush and your teeth, okay? And also friction helps your father to be able to drive the car and not skid and have an accident, okay? For him to brake faster there, it is because of friction. So friction helps us in many ways, okay? I hope you have managed to get as many ways so that if next time it comes in the test, you are able to pick a lot of points there. Sometimes they can say name 5 ways. At least today we say name 2. Name 2 names given to God in African traditional religion in ATR. Can you name 2 names given to God? Yes, Bryce, 1.
uNkulunkulu, Mwari.
Mwari, yes. Any other name? Anyone who has another name in African traditional religion? Yes, TC? Umlimu. Good, TC. Yes, it's good that you are trying isiNdebele. That's good. Umlimu. That is correct, TC. Umlimu. In Shona, they also call him Musikavanu. Musikavanu. TC, can you help spell Musikavanu for us, please?
Musikavanu, it's
Yes.
M-U-S-I Vanu, V-A-N N-H-U.
TC, may you please spell it once more for Bryce? He wants to take it down. Once more, TC.
It's M-U-S-I-V-A-N-H-U. Musikavanu.
Musikavanu.
More, wait.
Correct.
M-U-S-I and then K-U-V-A-N-H-U. Musikavanu.
Yes, thank you, TC. So sometimes if in a multiple choice question, you find that Umlimu is not there, uNkulunkulu is not there, Mwari is not there, but there is Musikavanu, you can choose that one as your answer, okay? Because sometimes they don't write the obvious. Yes, Bryce?
No, ma'am, I've never raised my hand.
Oh, it's okay, Bryce. Okay. Name a spirit medium under the indigenous religion. We had a lesson way back about spirit mediums, the indigenous religion. We said in Zimbabwe, there were 2 specific spirit mediums. Actually, we have 3 who were very important in the colonization of Zimbabwe. Who can tell me any name of a spirit medium that they can remember? Yes, Michaela?
Is it fine if I only say one because I can't remember the
It's
other
okay, it's okay, Michaela, it's okay.
Mbuya Nehanda.
Yes, Mbuya Nehanda. She was one spirit medium who played a great role in the colonization of Zimbabwe to bring freedom. She was interpreting things, she was teaching, she was guiding and protecting them. Mbuya Nehanda. Nehanda, N-E-H-A-N-D-A. Mbuya Nehanda. I saw someone saying Sekuru Nehanda. I was saying, oh my goodness me. Nehanda was a lady, okay? Mbuya
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, the next one, yes, Bryce. Sekuru Kaguvi. Good, yes. Mbuya Nehanda, Sekuru Kaguvi, yes. These people were very important, okay? And they were hanged by the white people. That's how they died, okay? Buyanehanda and Sekuru Kakubi, they were hanged, okay? Because the white people noticed that they were playing a great role in the colonization of Zimbabwe to guide the soldiers and everything. They played a big role. Buyanehanda and Sekuru Kakubi. Please don't forget, okay? So sometimes in multiple choice, you might find it there. So don't forget about them. What is a conflict? What is a conflict? Conflict, who can define a conflict? Yes, Michaela. Yes, Michaela, I'm coming. The next question is you, TC. Yes.
A conflict is a quarrel or fight between two or more people.
Yes, a conflict is a quarrel. Anyone else who has something? A quarrel between two people? Yes, TC. Any other definition for conflict?
A conflict is an argument between two people fighting about different things.
Thank you, TC. TC gave us two more keywords there. A conflict is a quarrel. A conflict is an argument. A conflict is a fight. Okay. The moment you fight with someone, whether verbally or you're fighting with them physically using your fists, we call that a conflict. Okay. People can fight verbally, whereby you are exchanging words. Okay. You have different opinions. That's called a conflict. Good. I think everyone managed to get that one correct. Dash is one of Zimbabwe's indigenous language. Who can tell me what is an indigenous language? What is an indigenous language? Yes, Bryce. What is an indigenous language? Please repeat
It's
yourself.
Shona, ma'am.
Shona, ma'am. Yes, it's a Shona. Any other indigenous language? What is something called indigenous? I want someone who can define for me. Yes, Sean. Your hand was up, Sean.
Indigenous is a religion that believes ancestors.
Sorry? Something from your ancestors. Good, Sean. Do you know that English is an indigenous language, but not for Zimbabwe? It is an indigenous language for Britain because that's the language that they speak. Do you understand? So an indigenous language is a language, it's a language that comes from a country. Within a country, like what Sean said, it comes from the ancestors. Do you understand? If your ancestors, Takuta, they spoke Shona, that is an indigenous language, okay? When you look at languages like English, they came due to colonization, okay? Due to the colonial rule, these languages came, but our indigenous language, Ndebele, Isindebele, Shona, Tonga, there are many, Nambia, Kalanga, okay? Even with Shona, there are many dialects in Shona. We have Makaranga, that's an indigenous language, okay? Yes, there are many indigenous languages that were there with the people who used to live in Zimbabwe, while English came due to colonization. You understand? So English might not be an indigenous language in Zimbabwe, but it can be an indigenous language in another country because it comes originally from that country. Do you understand? That's what an indigenous language is. Okay. A civil marriage law states that a man must marry dash wives. A civil marriage or a law states that a man must marry dash wives. How many wives? Yes, Takuta?
One.
One, okay? So the civil marriage is the marriage that we always got to all the time. You know, when they say there's a wedding and there's the Makoti wearing the white dress and the male is wearing a nice suit and Takutwa and Bryce, they are the, what do you call them? Those groomsmen. Yes, yes, yes. And Michaela is that, what do you call the flower girl, carrying the rings and all that. That's the civil marriage, okay? Where there's one man and one wife, okay? That's the civil marriage. And the second type of a marriage is called an uncivil marriage. This one is whereby a man can just remove lobola, okay, in the form of lobola, and we call that a marriage. And also with an uncivil marriage, a man is allowed to marry more than one wife. What do we call that type of a marriage? Where a man can marry more than one wife. Yes, Sean?
Polygamous.
Polygamous, yes. Where we have a polygamous marriage, it is under the uncivil marriage or the customary marriage. They can call it a customary marriage, okay? Whereby there is no need for them to go to the court and get married or to go to the church and get married. The men can just remove lobola. Let's say TC wants to get married to Mrs. Mlotshwa and Michaela. You see, that's a customary marriage. One man with two wives, okay? Yes, in the form of lobola, sometimes we talked about ukuhlalisana, whereby a man and a woman, they can just stay together without any marriage laws that they haven't gone to the court. Okay, so a civil marriage states that a man has one wife only. And my next question is, a dash is given to show a civil marriage union. What is given? What is given to show a marriage, to show that, yes, Michaela? Yes,
A
Michaela?
marriage certificate.
Sorry?
A marriage certificate.
A marriage certificate, okay? Your mother or your father, you can ask them if they got married under the civil marriage. Let them show you their marriage certificate, okay? So that you can familiarize yourself with it, okay? So that you can see what a marriage certificate looks like, if they have it, okay? Yes, I didn't say go to them and say, can I have it? Okay, if they have, because that marriage certificate is very important to them. They cannot lose it, okay? It's just like your birth certificate. Your mother just doesn't give it to anyone, right? So a marriage certificate is very, very important if it is under the civil marriage. While it's the customary marriage, doesn't need a marriage certificate. Bryce, your hand is up. Yes, Bryce?
Ma'am, what is the ring for?
Okay, the ring is a symbol that can be given to anyone, okay? Have you noticed people who just get engaged? They can just say, okay, I love my woman, I just want to give her a ring. Have you ever noticed that there are some girls who just wear rings at any point in time, whether they are married or not, okay? A ring can be given. What we are saying is a ring can be worn by anyone, whether or if they have had a civil marriage or not, okay? But with the marriage certificate, it comes specifically when a civil marriage has been made, okay? While it's a ring, people can buy a ring and wait, even if they didn't get married under the civil marriage, okay? So the marriage certificate is the proof to show that I was married under the civil marriage, okay? The customary marriages, the women can be given rings, okay? They can be given the rings to wear them because rings are bought, okay? But the certificate is not bought. You don't go and buy it somewhere else. This marriage certificate is given specifically by the courts, okay? While it's a ring, you can go and buy it anyway. I can go and buy a ring if I want to and wait. But I cannot go to Choppies and say, can I have a marriage certificate? How much is it? Do you understand? That's where there is a difference there, okay? But with the ring, you can buy it. If you find a Swiss place, they sell rings there. You can buy it if you have money. But with the marriage certificate, you cannot buy it anyway. You must be given specifically. It is given through the court. Yes, Sean, your hand is up.
When you want a marriage certificate, you just apply for it.
With the marriage certificate, you don't apply for it. You are given, okay? When you say that you want to get married, the judge, let's say the pastors as well, okay? Pastors are also given a mandatory to issue out marriage certificates to people, okay? When they are getting married. So the pastors, they go to the courts and then they are given, if the pastor is said to be authorized, okay, to marry people and to issue them out with a civil marriage certificate, they get it from the courts, okay, and they issue it out to the people. Not everyone can just issue out a marriage certificate because there are some pastors who are not even authorized to issue out these marriage certificates. Do you understand? Because it has a lot of court things in there, okay? Yes, so it is issued under court regulations, okay? Because a marriage certificate holds a lot of power, okay? If you have marriage certificate, you are sharing things, and the woman, remember we say, when we talked about the civil marriage, said the woman has the power to get the kids. Even when the husband dies, the woman is able to take over the properties that were there. Without that marriage certificate, okay, the woman is not able to do all of those things. So it is a very important document. That's why even if you say, Mama, can I see your marriage certificate? She might not give it to you. She can just show it to you, to flash it to you, and go and hide it. Yes, because it's a very important document. It's not something to just give to anyone, okay? Because she can lose one of the most valuable things she has in that house, okay? It's a very important document. All right. Name one cause of a single parent family. Name one cause of a single parent family. Why do we have single parent families? Just give me a cause. Yes, Michaela?
Divorce.
Divorce. Thank you, Michaela. Divorce is one cause. Bryce, another cause?
I want to say divorce,
You
ma'am.
want to say divorce? Okay, thank you, Bryce. Sean?
Some of the fathers died.
Yes, the death of the loved one. Yes, okay. It's either the mother dies or the father dies, and then there's that single parent. Remember, it's not only when we say single parent, we're not talking about the woman only. There are some fathers who are single parents as well, okay? So single parent, one member, a mother or a male or a female can die, or divorce, like what people are saying, like what Michaela said. Yes, Michaela?
Ma'am,
Yes, Michaela?
in India, if a husband dies and the wife is a widow, she has to wear white. She's not allowed to wear colored things.
Yes.
And if she's a widow, she's not allowed to eat fried food, and she's not allowed to put on jewelry.
Okay. I want to, Michaela, that's a good point. Remember that there are different ways in which people mourn, okay? In the African society, when women mourn their husbands, they wear black. Whilst in India, okay, white is the color for mourning, okay? If there is a funeral, people wear white in India. That's what they do, okay? But in Christianity, when we are happy, we wear white, like the bride wears a white thing, a white gown, okay? But in India, the women don't get married while still wearing white things, because white is used for death, okay? Those are the differences, different cultures, different things, different religions, okay? Yes. Yes,
Ma'am, no, I'm not saying for the funeral. I'm saying the widow has to wear white their whole life.
Well, they have to wear white their whole life.
Yes.
Yes, Michaela, thank you for that contribution. Thank you. Okay, what are rights? We can define rights for us. Our time is almost up, but it doesn't matter. We're going to continue. What are rights? Who can define rights for me? What are rights? Yes, Sean?
Right is a responsibility of, is a person's responsibility.
Yes,
Respected by.
ma'am.
Thank you, Sean. That's good. Anyone else wants to define a right? Yes, Bryce?
A right is a citizen's responsibility.
Yes, a right is something, an entitlement to you, okay? Something that is entitled to you, something that you must have. That is a right. You have a right to food, you must have food. You have a right to clothing, you must wear clothes. Do you understand? A right is something that you must have. When we talk about rights, we don't have a baseline. We are saying this is something that you must have. Every child must have a name. Every child must have a birth certificate. Whether they want to or whether they don't want, that is what a child must have. That is a right. Every child must wear clothes. All of you are putting on warm clothes, or you are putting on something. No one is naked here, okay? I'm also wearing something. Bryce is wearing something. Michaela, everyone is wearing. If only there was someone who was naked here, we would all be scared and run away and say, what's going on? Do you understand? Because that is your right. Yes. That's why you're laughing, because if maybe you log in, you find Mrs. Mlotshwa is not wearing anything, then now you're saying, what's going on now? Do you understand? Because everyone has a right, do you know? A right to wear clothes. Whether they have or whether they don't, they must give you something to wear. You cannot be seen walking around naked, okay? If something is done like that, which means we call it abuse, okay? Name 5 rights for children before we close. We're going to be any 5 rights as we move. Yes, Michaela, 1?
Yes.
Teacher.
A right to education.
Right to education. Thank you, Bryce. Another right, Bryce.
A right to shelter.
A right to shelter. Thank you, Shoni. Another right.
Certificate.
A right to?
Certificate.
To a birth certificate. Thank you, Sean. Another right, Tissy?
A right to health.
A right to health. These are all our rights. Every child must have a right to that, okay? We always talk about the rights of children because children are the vulnerable people, okay? You are vulnerable. So you must always have your rights there. If you are sick, okay, your mother will take you to the hospital. She'll give you something to take, okay? Yes. That's why you find that in some other places, like in Pilo, they say children 0 to 5 years, they don't pay anything because the country is trying to open that right to health, okay? To say whether the mother has money or not, a 1 month-old baby can go and get treatment for free, okay? Because we want to give that child a right. Even the birth certificate, you don't buy it, they give it to you for free, okay? So all of those things that we're talking about, every child has that right. Every child is a child card. That is a right, okay? I hope you managed to enjoy our lesson for today and our reading. Thank you for participating, okay? See you again tomorrow, same time.
Bye.
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 Bye,
Miss
guys.
Mlotshwa.
Bye,
Bye, Sean.
Bye.
Bye, Michaela.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you again tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye, Carissa. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Harissa.
Bye, Brian.